Okay, Robin. Hi, how you doing? Yeah, I've got some comments, and I think that you know me by now. You know I'm a minimalist. You know that I preach minimalism, and I always give reasons why. So, the reason why I'm about to preach minimalism here is that you're about to do something that is going to have repercussions later on. And let me describe that, and I'll also show you an example. And I'm talking about using the green. What the green is doing is it's actually becoming part of your branding. Okay, which means that now you're tied to green as part of your branding, and that I don't think you want to do, and I'll get to that in a second. The logo is it's such a beautiful mark, so memorable, so fluid and organic. It's gorgeous. So another reason I would not want to put anything near it. Let it go. It's beautiful on its own. It doesn't need these supporting elements at all. The only thing I suggest is that I think that your name is a little bit small in relationship to the mark. I know I said that before, and I still think the mark is overpowering the name, which isn't always a good thing. I mean, it's a good thing that the mark has the strength to stand on its own, and it certainly does for sure. And your name as well, but together the relationship is such that it leans this way. So I think you should reduce the size of that a little bit. Let's go to the back of the business card, and the same thing. Now you've let the green is your branding in this particular composition. So now, why is it a problem that the green becomes your branding? Well, it's not a problem that color becomes part of your branding. In fact, color is very, 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 very tightly associated with branding. So if you want to add a color or help identify yourself using a color, add it to your logo. Don't add it to the surrounding area of your logo, because it locks you into using that. Okay, so if you want to use green, attempt to fit green into your logo itself instead of using those. And there's a couple of reasons why. I told you I would give you some examples, and let me do that. You've got your letterhead. Okay, so the letterhead basically is so top heavy that it's just really uncomfortable in terms of visual. It's got a very uncomfortable visual tension, based on the fact that there's all this weight up here and nothing down here. So one would think, okay, well, let's rectify that by pulling the green bar down. But then what you're doing is you're compromising this initial branding that you set up with. Do you see what I'm saying? Do you see how you're kind of painting yourself into a corner? Okay, and then further, this is almost, it appears to be isolated information. Okay, so how do we rectify this problem? Actually, before we get to that, let me just go ahead and show you. Remember I said you're painting yourself into a corner. Remember I said I'm going to show you an example. Let me show you an example. This is your leave behind. This has the green has now become such an important, such an overwhelming part of your branding that it's completely taking over what you've been working on so hard thus far. I just noticed something. That's a different logo than this. Yes, it is. Yeah, these are different logos, Robin. The one on your leave behind is different. The type is closer and it's larger than that. So there's an inconsistency that would definitely have to be addressed. Check that one too. At any rate, so as I was saying, excuse me, 1 second. As I was saying, the green is now overpowering your branding. Anytime you consider branding as a designer who's about to introduce yourself to a hiring market, you're considering your branding and the consistency of your branding and how far and how deep this branding can go in your identity suite. And it will go right down to your portfolio. And this is an example of how this green can be a problem. When you use color in anything other than a logo in your branding, not only are you bringing that element into your branding, but you're also locking yourself into the use of that color throughout the presentation, which might not always be good. As we can see here, some of these colors are not harmonious with the green. that's an issue. That's why in portfolio itself, portfolio class proper, we teach no background elements in your background on your background pages. Either a very neutral color or preferably white. And I think these are really, really good examples of, well, that's the only one, but it's there. It's definitely there. You definitely have some issues with color, and you can see the potential of having these issues with color if you use a color for your branding. Boy, I'm just pounding this color and branding thing, aren't I? I think you get the point. I guess is what I'm saying. I think you get the point. So if you want to continue with the green, it's up to you. It's not like you're not going to get a, you know what I mean? You're showing proficiency in what the objectives are of the assignment. So don't worry about that. You're good to go. I'm talking about using this moving forward in your personal branding and right down into your final branding for your final portfolio as a student. So I'm looking forward. I'm looking ahead, as it were. Other than that, okay, what do? We just get rid of the green. That's all. If you want to infiltrate some green with your logo, by all means, try it, see how you like it. But remember that has to interact with all sorts of different things. So keep that in mind. All right, I hope I'm making sense. Sorry I took almost 7 minutes here, but I just think it's really important for you to understand my viewpoints and those viewpoints on branding and the way that you've applied color to the package itself. Okay? Any questions, give me a holler. Thanks very much.